So I wanted to give a little bit of a brief history of my lesson plans as they have evolved. I used this one for a while. I liked that it was comprehensive, but I did not like the amount of white space that was left on the page, and it seemed very much a waste of space for me. I didn't like the idea that if I'm trying to look at a glance of my lesson plans for the week, I had to do so much scrolling, which I know sounds nitpicky, but it is. Um, when we have limited time, as much limited time as teachers do, it helps to be able to move more quickly. I had felt that I wasn't quite understanding that it was really a question of the not being able to see so many things at once. I didn't realize that I really needed that. I thought it was more of a visual thing. So as you can see, I sort of just changed the the look of it and tried to get as much linked in as possible. And it didn't do necessarily what I wanted it to do because it still had the problem with the scrolling and essentially a lot of white space and wasted space. Then I moved on to this, which satisfied my aesthetic needs, but it didn't really do much in terms of helping me get my pieces more together. I did start to, I did attempt to sort of work backwards here with this, with putting less into the lesson plan itself and then more into the actual Schoology pieces that we would be using, but it was not right for what I was actually trying to do. This was the closest that came. Giving this sort of helped me realize that I really wanted to be able to see things and go from one moment to the next and see things spread out over a period, as much at a glance as possible. This, however, was a little bit too much for me. This was the all of my preps into one lesson plan guide, and it was overwhelming, overbearing to look at. Even now, it gives me a little bit of anxiety to see all my five preps at the same time. So I was kind of inspired by this, which I know looks chaotic, but it does for me, what it does for me is provides the information that I need at a glance, and then I can click into any particular area and be able to oh, oh, oh my, and be able to get to where I need to get to, and see the information that is accompanying that greater topic. That was what I wanted to do for here, but I was not necessarily able to because the limitations of Google Drive. I even went so far as researching different lesson plan templates that would provide me more of a calendar style and give me the topic and a good chunk of what I wanted to look at a glance, and then be able to click into it and do a formatted drop down. But such a thing is not available. Hopefully, it will be in the next maybe year to 18 months. I'm going to be working with somebody, for a friend who's a website developer, who might be able to help me make this into an app. So that essentially looks a little bit more like this, but with this information in it. Ideally, being able to click into the standards, all the different standards which satisfy my need to see things sorted. So my standards, my anchor standards for reading are well laid out, as well laid out as I like them at least. And then, if you just go to different progress indicators. So all of the anchors, and then the progress indicators, and then the different types for reading, writing, speaking, and listening are all incorporated here. There are times where I need to incorporate other things such as science standards or history standards. They can be additional standards added on week by week down here. But I really do like the overall look of this because it gives me my week and all of my information. It gives me my objectives for the week. It lets me know where I need to be going to by the end of the week. And it gives me my listed standards. And if I wanted to look more closely at those, I can look into them up here. So then it gives me all of the information that I need. The way I work it is I put as much in at the beginning of the week as possible, and then I put notes in purple. So if I've added something, like you could see I added things probably at 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that in purple. that is how I expand during the week and I respond to what is happening in our class at that time. So this journal was probably something else, and then I changed it that morning based on whatever happened this day. So this has become a way that it's like a working brain for me, and I really love this lesson plan template, and I can't wait to see if I can make it more, even more condensed and user friendly and interactive.